Today, we'll be looking at an action, drama, fantasy, horror, supernatural anime called Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Spoilers ahead! On the island country of Hinomoto, the Hayajiro Kotetsujo, an armored train, is attacked by several Kabane, humans transformed into undead creatures by a viral infection, and the Bushi defeat them. However, a Bushi is bitten, and he commits suicide to avoid being killed as a Kabane. At the train's destination, Aragane Station, Ikoma, a steamsmith, is working on a powerful piercing gun to kill the Kabane. The Kotetsujo arrives at Aragane Station, and Ikoma steals some Kabane body parts. Kensho, the leader of the Yomogawa family, excuses Shimon and Mume, two passengers from the mandatory Kabane inspection who are headed for Kongokaku. Ikoma is detained for insubordination and is secretly visited by Mume, as she's intrigued by his personality and interest in the Kabane. Another Hayajiro, called Fusojo, arrives at the station. The defensive drawbridge is lowered, but the train is taken over by the Kabane, who crash it into the defending wall, allowing them to attack the station. Ikoma flees to his home, lures a Kabane into the house and kills it with his bolt gun, but is bitten in the process and begins to transform into a Kabane. Using several painful, potentially fatal techniques, Ikoma stops his blood flow from carrying the virus to his brain. He successfully does so, reverting to his human form and passing out. Meanwhile, Mume kills a Kabane using a blade, which forms the base of her shoe. Ikoma, discovering that he has stopped the Kabane virus from infecting him, tells his fellow steamsmith, Takumi, of his success with his bolt gun and antivirus technique. Meanwhile, survivors of the Kabane attack fight a defensive battle within Aragane Station, while seeking an opportunity to escape in the Kotetsujo. Mume arrives dressed in battle gear and offers to clear the way so Yukina, the sole remaining engineer and an apprentice, can command the Kotetsujo. She leaps into the midst of the Kabane and leads them away, killing several in the process. The remaining citizens then rush to board the train. Meanwhile, Ikoma and Takumi attempt to board the train with his gun. Mume detects something different about Ikoma, and vouches for him so he can board the Kotetsujo. Ayame Yomogawa, Kensho's daughter, produces the special key to start the train's engine. Kurusu, one of the Bushi, tells Mume to defend the train's rear, but she refuses and falls asleep. While fending off a Kabane, Ikoma's infected heart is exposed, and he is eventually forced off the Kotetsujo. However, the train is stopped by a malfunction of the drawbridge, and the passengers witness Ikoma killing the Kabane. Lecturing the passengers for their distrust, Ikoma manually releases the drawbridge, allowing the train to leave. Despite the Bushi's objections, Takumi and Mume get Ikoma back on the Kotetsujo. Before Kurusu can kill him, Mume intervenes and reveals that she and Ikoma are Kabaneri, beings with an existence between humans and Kabane. After Mume reveals her identity as a Kabaneri, Ayame stops Kurusu from killing the Kabaneri and reminds everyone that they were rescued by Ikoma and Mume. The Kotetsujo is headed for Kongokaku, the Shogun's greatest stronghold, and Mume insists on staying on board. However, the passengers are filled with alarm and distrust because of a lack of food and water, doubt whether they will be admitted into Kongokaku, and presence of the Kabaneri accompanying them. Mume reveals that she has a mission and needs help from him because she gets exhausted after fighting. She begins training Ikoma personally in preparation for the future Kabane attacks. The train has to stop for food and water repairs, and the passengers take the opportunity to pray for those who died at Aragane Station. Ikoma tells Mume that he has vowed to avenge his sister's death at the hands of the Kabaneri and a green stone tied to his palm, which seems to have some effect on the Kabane. Mume reveals that Kabaneri can only survive by drinking human blood, and later kills a pregnant woman who becomes a Kabane. Meanwhile, Ayame attacks Ikoma, but Ikoma tells her about his vow, appeasing the passengers' fears of the Kabaneri. However, Ikoma becomes delirious from his own need of blood and attacks Ayame. Kurusu rescues Ayame just as the Kabane appear in the woods surrounding the Kotetsujo, and everyone gets back on board. Still fearful of the Kabaneri, the 6 chiefs, led by Akoji, has Ayame hand over the Kotetsujo's master key. To Ayame's dismay, Akoji reroutes the Kotetsujo for the mountains to provide a shorter route to Kongokaku, in spite of the increased danger posed by the Kabane on the exposed mountain path. Then, Akoji dispatches a chief to get Takumi and fellow steamsmith Kajika and Tsukari to the Kotetsujo's lost car with Mume and Ikuma and detach the car. However, the Kabane, including a sword-wielding Wazatori, ambushes the Kotetsujo and kills some of its passengers. Ayame, Kurusu, and the Bushi hold off the Kabane while the surviving passengers escape to the train's front. Using his sword-wielding skills, Kurusu fights the remaining Kabane inside the train at close quarters. Simultaneously, Mume, Ikuma, and their allies escape from their car and fight the Kabane. But Mume falls asleep from exhaustion. Kurusu fights the Wazatori but is injured in the process. With Ikuma in need of fresh blood, Ayame slashes her arm and replenishes him with her blood. After Ikuma kills the Wazatori, Ayame leads a cry of Rokan Shoujo. To celebrate their victory, Ayame regains the Master Key and declares that she will allow the Kabaneri to stay aboard the Kotetsujo, offering her blood to help sustain them. Ikuma's friends and a number of others, including Kurusu, voluntarily join her. Ikuma helps the Bushi develop weapons to kill the Kabane, and Ayame declares the Kabaneri are the bodyguards of the Kotetsujo. The train arrives at Yashiro Station, which was attacked by Kabane who still remain within. The Aragane passengers rescue some human survivors, who talk of a black fog before they attack. Mume meets Enoku, a crippled fighter still loyal to her brother, the young master. He warns her that the shogunate is acting suspiciously by stockpiling weapons and advises her to complete her mission. Debris blocks the tracks and the Kotetsujo committee decide to use a crane to remove it. Ikuma suggests a cautious route to the crane, but Mume unexpectedly insists on a head-on clash with the Kabane. While Ikuma leads a group of engineers to start the crane, Mume attacks the nest of Kabane single-handed, estimating that she has 90 seconds of energy left. She defeats them, but before the working party can start the crane, even more Kabane appear. The crew retreat and Ikuma starts to lift the debris with the crane, while Mume uses her remaining energy to fight the horde of Kabane. A weakening Mume is then attacked by a Wazatori, and Ikuma gets to her aid before he completes removing the debris. At that moment, a giant shadowy figure heads towards the train. The black fog is revealed to be a colony of Kabane fused into one giant beast. Unable to leave, the Kotetsujo retreats to the station workshop and they seal the door. Ikuma finds Mume trapped under rubble and tries to release her. The committee discuss their options of whether to leave or stay. Unable to free Mume, Ikuma leads the Kabane away from her and kills as many as he can before succumbing. Kurusu and some others rescue Mume via a tunnel. She runs to find Ikuma, who is badly wounded, and they all return to the train together. While the black fog beast is distracted, feeding on the bodies of the dead Kabane, Ikuma removes the wreckage from the tracks. Mume suggests a plan to kill the beasts using everyone working together. The Kotetsujo leaves the workshop with the beast in pursuit. At the last possible moment, they shoot the beast with the train's cannon, and Mume kills the woman controlling it, who, much to her surprise, was a Kabane like her who turned rogue. With the beast defeated, the Kotetsujo leaves Yashiro Station. The Kotetsujo arrives at Shitori Station, which is still occupied by humans, but are only allowed to stay for a couple of days. Ayame exchanges something of value to purchase bamboo for the Tanabata ceremony so people can hang their wishes on it. They are then offered food and other provisions in exchange for the jet bullets technology invented by Ikuma. Mume reveals to Ikuma that her name was Hozumi before she became a Kabaneri, and he promises that he will make her human again. The next day, they all share their wishes, hoping for a better life. The following day, the Hayajiro Kokujo arrives with the Hunter Squad. It is an elite team that hunts Kabane, led by Biba, the Shogun's son, whom Mume calls her brother. However, Ikuma is suspicious of Biba's past and whether he really is a hero or something else. Biba Amatori is introduced to Ayame and reveals that he is Mume's older brother in name only and has been disowned by the Shogun. The Kabane attack Shitori Station and Biba takes his hunter squad and destroys them all, and kills a re-emerged Inoku, who he accuses of betrayal. He then offers to accompany Ayame's Kotetsujo to Kongakaku, and she accepts. Ikuma suspects that Biba turned Mume into a Kabaneri and gave her the name Mume for his own purposes. Biba asks Mume to get the Kotetsujo Master Key for him, but she is tricked and given the wrong key. Ikuma discovers that Biba is transporting Kabane on his train, but Biba uses Mume to prevent him from entering the carriage. Ikuma is convinced that Biba is not a hero. The Kokujo with the hunters is refused entry to Iwato Station. the last before Kongokaku, by the shogun's samurai. Ayame decides to part company with the hunters and asks Ikuma to get Mume. Lord Maeda, leader of the fortress, agrees to a meeting with Biba on the condition that only women and children accompany him. During the meeting, Mume leaves the meeting saying that she needs to go to the toilet, and lowers the Iwado station's drawbridge to let Biba's Kabane into the station. Biba then kills Lord Maeda. When Mume sees the Kabane attack the station, she is horrified by the consequences of her actions. Meanwhile, Biba's men take Ayame hostage and kill the shogun's samurai for what Biba says is retribution for the shogunate's cowardice for the past 10 years. He believes that only the strong should survive. Biba injects his Kabaneri Horobi with a serum so that she can become the heart of another black fog beast, gathering all the Kabane into a single colony, a Nu. The Nu is defeated, but Horobi survives and continues to fight. When she reaches Biba, he kills her since she has served her purpose. In the aftermath, Biba and his men control a devastated Iwado station. Mume then realizes that everything Biba told her was a lie. Biba and his troops are now in control of the Hayajiro and its passengers, using their blood to feed his Kabane. Biba offers a deal to Ayame that if she can open the gates to Kongokaku and arrange a meeting with his father, he will guarantee the safety of her people. He tells her of the time when his father sent him with 400,000 troops to Kyushu to fight the Kabane, but when replacement supplies failed to arrive, they were overrun and wiped out, for which he blames his father. Meanwhile, Ikuma hatches a daring plan with some of the passengers to retake control of the Hayajiro. Biba offers Mume a chance to join his troops, but she refuses and is forced to take captive vaccine and sedated. Ikuma's group starts their attack to take control of the Katetsujo, but Biba had anticipated a counterattack and confronts Ikuma, killing Takumi, who sacrifices himself to save Ikuma. Biba then calls on Mume to kill Ikuma. She obeys his order due to Biba's captive vaccine, stabbing Ikuma, who falls from the Hayajiro into a coast far below. Ikuma is still alive, washed up on the shore, and is found by Kurusu, who went missing in the previous attack. Biba injects Mume with the same liquid that he used on Horobi to turn her into a Nu. The Katetsujo arrives at Kongokaku and announces that they have captured the men who destroyed Iwatao Station, so they are allowed entry. Ayame pretends to have Biba prisoner because her crew are being held hostage, and they are taken to meet the Shogun. Biba tricks the Shogun into holding a sword tainted with the Kabane virus, which turns him into a Kabane. Biba then kills him and announces to everyone that the Kabane are among them, which creates a panic, and people start killing each other out of fear. The Karikatashu take the Katetsujo into the city and release the Kabane, while Ayame escapes with the help of her uncle. Kurusu has one of Biba's scientists prisoner, with knowledge about the Kabane virus. He says that Mume can be saved once she becomes a Nu, by injecting white plasma into her heart. Ikuma insists on being injected by black plasma to give him additional strength, although it will accelerate the Kabane virus and shorten his life. Mume begins her transformation into a Nu, to fulfill Biba's dream of destruction. Ikuma and Kurusu enter Kongokaku, drawing the Kabane towards them. Ayame appeals to the humans to stop attacking each other in fear, and entreats them to leave Kongokaku with her people in the Katetsujo. With Kurusu's help, Ikuma is able to reach Mume Nu. He destroys the Hayajiro Kokujo in the process when the hunters try to drive it into him with his additional powers, since taking the black serum. Mume seems to be unaware of what she's become. Recalling memories from the past and imagining herself surrounded by butterflies, Ikuma reaches Mume Nu, but is intercepted by Biba, who is revealed as a Kabaneri. Biba stabs Ikuma with his sword, but this does not kill him. And as he is about to try again, Ikuma recovers and blasts him with his bolt gun. Mume appears to understand that Ikuma is near, and she allows him to inject her with a white serum, destroying the Nu and returning her to her previous form. Ayame and her people leave the smoldering city of Kongokaku and the Hayajiro Katetsujo with Kurusu, Mume and an injured Ikuma on board. Ikuma starts to recover thanks to a serum secretly given by Biba, and the effects of the black serum seem to diminish. As an afterthought, Mume hands him back his green stone. Thanks for watching! If you enjoyed it, be sure to let us know by leaving a like, subscribe for more stories, and check out other stories here.